A national program to restore coral reefs that have been badly degraded from years of poor practices like pollution as well as warming seas was negatively impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Krista Campbell was in Portland and now reports.
From mangroves to coral reefs, Hurricane Melissa either did a number on or seriously threatened both ecosystems. Now, the impact on either mangroves or coral reefs cannot be stressed enough because they are the first points of protection from strong waves caused by weather systems. They break wave energy so that waves hit the coastline with less intensity. In addition, they are the main sources of most of the seafood and marine plants on Earth. So at a time when there are national programs to replant years of mangroves and coral reefs lost across the island, the hurricane's damage is even more severe. Bethany Dean is scientific officer at the Alligator Head Foundation in Portland.
Corals like consistency. They like to be in the same type of water throughout, especially when they're in, and they also get very used to the environment that they're living in. So when they have been living in very pristine water conditions for the last couple months, and then suddenly that has shifted for such a long period of time, the stress that you put the corals under is something that can kill them.
Coral reefs out at sea here at the East Portland Fish Sanctuary were spared the worst of Hurricane Melissa on October 28, 2025. However, inside the nursery here at the Alligator Head Foundation, juvenile corals that are part of a national restoration program were not so lucky. In fact, Bethany Dean says some of the juvenile corals, which were part of the National Restoration Program, died because of the hurricane's impact.
We had loss of electricity for about 4 weeks. Now, when you're running life support systems for corals, losing electricity is detrimental. So we had the issue where we weren't able to operate the correct lights for the corals, the being able to provide oxygenation through water flow for majority of the day. So thankfully we have a generator, so we were able to run that for some parts of the day. But that also involved asking our workers to come out during a hurricane to power said generator.
And even as they try to save the remaining juvenile corals, threats persist.
Right now, our lab is actually drywall. So if we had been hit directly by Hurricane Melissa, it is likely that the entire system would have gone down. So even now, even though we weren't directly hit, we have our roof is leaking. We've had a mold problem, which we're still battling. And so just these small issues could have been 10 million times worse.
She's particularly concerned about a new restoration technique being used on near-extinct pillow corals.
So we have started this journey of taking these babies from off the reef, having them in our lab, and then if it is that we had ended up losing those babies, that's something detrimental for the reef system, something detrimental for the money, effort, and time that we put into growing these. There's so little of them left that if that coral had died, it would have been a huge impact on what we have been able to develop. It's a coral that has been here from day one, essentially.
And so she says the foundation is looking at better preparations for any other weather systems, to include having a more secure building for the coral reef nursery and outplanting the juvenile corals ahead of an impending system's landfall. Krista Campbell, TVJ News.